Hi and welcome to Studio SN. My name is Sara Naumann and today we're making Christmas cards with gelatos. This fun and easy Christmas card features a glittery effect of gold and blue, and it's one of my favorite combinations. It's using gelato pigment sticks plus embossing powder. And I think as I tilt this and wiggle it, you can see not only that beautiful soft blue of the gelato in the background, but also the sparkle and shine of that embossing powder on top. Such an easy technique to do, and one that is great if you're doing your Christmas cards as a sort of mass production, because you can do a lot of these in one great big batch. So let's take a look. First, I'm going to start with a piece of white cardstock, and this is just plain uncoated matte white cardstock, and then I can apply my gelato color on top. Now, if you've not worked with gelatos before, they are a lot of fun and a little bit addicting, so I have to give you fair warning there. This is what they look like. They're from Faber-Castell, and they are a pigment stick. This is the double scoop, so it's a little bit bigger. This is the sort of standard size that you might find. They come in sets. You can get them in great big sets or in color coordinating sets as well. But the application and the basic setup of these is the same, no matter which size you get. So if you think of them as a bit like a chapstick or a lipstick, on top of the cap, you're going to have your color name on here, and this is Snow Cone. It's one of my favorites. And then if you just take off the cap and twist the barrel, you can release more color. So you can see it is kind of like a lip balm applicator. You can work with these wet or dry, and we're going to do a wet application in this case. So I'm going to scoot aside my cardstock, working onto my craft sheet. I'm just going to scribble some of this color right on here. So easy application, and actually these guys will last you a really long time too. So I've got my snow cone on here, and I'm going to spritz on a little bit of water. Now the more water I spritz on, of course, the more diluted my color will be. So it just depends on, you know, the intensity of the color that you want and also the fluidity. So I'm going to take my cardstock now and then just sort of mop it up. Like so, and you can see how easily I get this color on here. And swoop this up. You have a corner there. I don't need to cover it completely. If I really wanted to do that, then I could just color directly onto the cardstock. But I just want to knock back the white and get a little bit of that blue on there. And then of course with this on here, I can just go ahead and clean it up with a baby wipe or a paper towel. Then I just need to let this set aside to dry for a little bit. It won't take too long, but in the interest of your time, of course, I have a piece that is already dry. So you can see I've got a really nice varied effect on here. If it curls up a little bit as it's drying, I just put this under a stack of books or magazines and flatten it out. Now I can go ahead and add my embossing powder on top. So I'm going to bring in a piece of scrap paper to do this with. So I've got this, it's folded so that I can do my embossing on it. I need my embossing powder, and this is Wow embossing powder. This is the Pearl Gold Sparkle Embossing Glitter. So an embossing glitter is going to be a little bit chunkier consistency than a standard embossing powder, and that's what we want. So I've got the embossing glitter. I also need to have some kind of watermark stamp pad to do my embossing. I've got my Versamark, and I have my little trusty mini brayer. So the first thing I'm going to do is probably horrify you with the state of my ink pad. Trust me, it works just fine. And I'm just going to go ahead and ink up my brayer. Make sure that it's inked all the way around, so not just a quick zoop zoop, but really go along on here. And then right onto my cardstock. Now I don't need to cover this completely. I just want to get a little bit of coverage on top of here. Then working pretty quickly, I'm just going to open this piece up and come in with my embossing glitter. And I'm just going to sprinkle this all over. Again, I'm not trying to cover the entire thing. I really just want to get a second layer without obliterating the gelato color. Tap that off and then look at my effect. Now, if I think that I've got too much of that embossing glitter on there, I can take a soft brush or even use my finger and kind of rub off a little bit of that. Then I just need to heat set that. Now, when you're heat setting this, a couple of things just to keep in mind. First, it's going to take a little bit longer with your heat tool than if you're embossing, say, a stamped design or stamped sentiment or something, because you've got a lot of area to cover on here. And the second thing to keep in mind, let it cool before you handle it, because if it's still sort of what they call molten or still melting and you put your finger in it, it can be a little bit painful. So go ahead and heat emboss this, and then of course you use this to sort of shuffle your embossing powder back into your jar. So I'm going to slide this away and then bring back in my original card, and we can take a look at this as well. So here's my completed design on the background, and again I'll wiggle it so you can see that shine on there as well. I just love that, and I love having that blue as the background as well. Now the other thing that you can keep in mind too, there's so many different colors of gelatos, they're like candy really. So of course I've used the snow cone on my background. You could also, though, do a red as your background. Go for a really traditional Christmas red and gold. You could also use, this is the lime. You could use this as well. So you've got a couple of different color combination ideas in there as well. So you can really have some nice variety. Now for this piece here, this is just a piece of hammered gold metallic paper. It's been matted up onto teal cardstock. My embossed piece has also been matted up onto teal cardstock. And this center focus on here, this is a stamp from IndigoBlu. I'm going to move this aside and show you. This is one of their dinky stamps, and it's the Merry Christmas circles. So you can see it's a really pretty easy design to stamp and emboss. I stamped and embossed this with gold, but you'll notice I did not emboss it with the gold metallic glitter, because this is fairly detailed. You can see on here with this embossing, this is done not with the metallic, but this has been done with a metallic gold rich pale in super fine. That's going to help capture all of the detail of the words and the letters on here. So that's what I've used, the super fine for this, and then the glitter for the background really makes a big difference in the readability. So I stamped and embossed that on white cardstock. Now you could also just go around here and cut it out with a pair of scissors. I went ahead and punched it with the circle punch, and this is a, as you can see, 1 3/4 circle punch, and you just feed this through here and then press, and you can get your circle shape. One thing that I realized with that though is that you do leave behind a little bit of that gold edging, which is okay, but if you want, you could also, of course, just trim around. And you'll notice on here too that it's a bit of a scuffy effect on there, so it doesn't have to be entirely precise, which is nice as well. So I've punched that out and then just mounted it up onto 2 layers of foam tape, added some self-adhesive pearls going along here, and then a little piece of cream grosgrain ribbon tied into a bow. It's a super easy card design to do, and one I think if you're doing kind of a mass production of your Christmas cards and you need a simple design, one that you can do in lots of different colors and do assembly line fashion, this would be a great way to start. So this is how you can create layered backgrounds with gelatos for Christmas cards and of course for cards all year round. If you like the idea of gelatos and you're intrigued by them, I do have an online course over at Creative Workshops, and they're at creativeworkshops.me on art journaling with gelatos. So you may be interested in checking that out as well. I hope you enjoyed today's show. For more ideas and inspiration, please stop by my website at saranaumann.com. If you enjoyed today's video, I invite you to subscribe to Studio SN on YouTube, and I'll keep you updated with a new video every Wednesday. Thank you for joining me on Studio SN, and I will see you again next time.